All right, guys, we're gonna just do a quick news drop, let you know what's happening today, right now, breaking news. Include some stuff that people are sending me that's part of our community that think that you need to know about this. Important information that affects you coming right up. Hey guys, my name is Cohen here at Riverside Homestead, and if you're brand new here, welcome. And if you guys are into prepping tips, emergency preparedness, and most important, news and awareness that affects you, be sure to start this video off with a like, hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date, and let's begin. All right, folks, thanks for joining me. Thanks for starting this off with a like. Definitely helps it reach more folks. The small thing that you guys can do by spreading awareness. I'm gonna go through all kinds of stuff from viruses that are spreading right now, 6 different states that are facing and bracing for a tornado and flash floods today, 64,000 pounds of butter recalled, more massive hurricanes coming out in the forecast for this weekend, and of course, surprise, surprise, even more products with listeria warnings, meaning more recalls, and last but not least, massive fires, and I think it's just the front end of experiencing fires, which means bad air quality for most of the rest of us. I'll try to make it quick. Let's dive right in. West Nile virus. Haven't heard that one in a while, right? But it is being reported in multiple states. Here's what to know. Real quick, they're saying throughout the country, mosquitoes in the states such as Rhode Island, Oregon, New York, Pennsylvania, and more have been tested positive for West Nile virus, one of the leading mosquito-borne illnesses in the country, according to Emma Grace Crumbly, an entomologist with Mosquito Squad Plus. They're saying towns test mosquitoes for the virus so that they can consider doing community-wide spraying to prevent the spread. So, is this the spraying that comes overhead? We all get sprayed, not just the mosquitoes. We all get sprayed. I'm guessing that's the case. They're saying while this prevention method is certainly helpful, infected mosquitoes still get people sick. People in the states of Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Florida have come down with the virus this summer so far. They're saying that there have been 98 cases of the virus in the United States so far this year, according to the CDC. It's a rare disease, but one that folks should be aware of. Now, we've seen this before in Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, that type of area. Now, you know what they'll blame it on. They'll blame it on climate type stuff, saying that most states are hotter than normal. Anyway, I won't go into any more of that. You guys can quickly research that if you're concerned with that, but it is being reported that West Nile virus is spreading more than normal and may be a reason of concern going into the summer. I'll leave a link for that guy right back there. Now I like this one because it's got a tripod. You can just set it up anywhere and you can get after those mosquitoes, and trust me, this thing is a beast. No joke, I just ordered 2 more. I'll put a link in the description case. You can't get electronics locally, meaning the US. It's probably gonna be China made. But when you wanna get after mosquitoes, you're gonna need a little bit of electronic advantage. So I'll put an Amazon link down in the description if you guys need to have one of those. And trust me, if there's a US made one out there that's affordable, I'd 100% recommend that. But this country went to China on everything electronic, as you know. So to wrap that up, highly recommend that one. Next on the list is 6 US states bracing for tornadoes and flash floods. Let me see if I can find a quick weather recap for you guys so you can see what's going on. But just so you know, it's the East Coast, brutal stretch of weather in the United States roughly 24 hours ago, the tri-state area. They're saying some drivers had to leave their stranded cars. Check it out.
Always tracking the tropics. I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Corey Sima. Look at those blooms of color on our satellite imagery, especially up into southern and eastern Georgia. This is a stationary front that has just parked itself right near the Florida-Georgia border and up into southeast Georgia. And on the tail end of this front, there is low pressure that's trying to develop just off the coast of the Carolinas. The National Hurricane Center has highlighted this yellow shaded area in the western Atlantic. I'm not concerned about it at all, and neither should you, because even if this thing develops, it's going to be moving away from northeast Florida, southeast Georgia, and the United States in general. In the longer term, we've got to watch the western Atlantic and potentially the Caribbean as well for some development. But right now, there are no areas of concern for northeast Florida and southeast Georgia. If we do get a named storm, that will be Dexter, and after Dexter is Aaron.
Now keep your eyes peeled, guys, because I think we're going to have a rough tail end to this summer, because there's still 18 named storms that we're expected to see. And we've went through some time, and I'm expecting us to have 1, after another because they usually get their way on all these named storms. Also, they're saying 2 massive hurricanes are in the forecast for the weekend. According to ABC News, Hurricane Gil has been gaining strength in the eastern Pacific. So this is on the other side of the United States. It has been maintaining winds of 75 miles per hour and officially classified as a Category 1. Gil has been sustaining. At the same time, Category 3 Hurricane Lona has been mercifully decreasing in strength. Lona has been raging since July 27th, reaching winds of 125 miles per hour, and that's off the west of Hawaii. So if you're in those areas, keep an eye on those ones. As for more of a generalized scope of all the U.S., let's check out this.
That the tropics are waking up in the Atlantic Basin. It is August after all. We tend to see more activity even farther out. We still have a pretty active area over in the eastern Pacific as well, with Tropical Storm Gil, an invest area, and an area to watch. But let's start closer to home here, just off the southeast coast, where this area is under investigation by the National Hurricane Center. So it's an invest area, invest 95L, where it could develop in this hatched area, but moving away from the U.S. coastline. So that's certainly some good news. And by the way, they just upped the chances of development to 50% as of the latest update. It was 40% about an hour ago. Now we're up to 50%. It has to do with a frontal boundary, and typically that can happen with an area of spin that can develop along that front. But the good news is, as I mentioned, we do have it kind of moving easterly and not towards the Carolina coastline. We still have very warm sea surface temperatures, but we also have some of that wind shear, especially to the north and west side.
Thank goodness for the Carolinas, right? They've seen enough of it. All right, I want to tell you about some fires that are cracking up, and I think that we're going to be dealing, if not with fires, air quality issues. This is the theme of 2025. Listeria, recalls left and right. If you're not paying attention, you might be playing the lottery with some of this stuff. This article says additional products recalled amid ongoing listeria concerns. The Food and Safety Authority of Ireland has issued a new wave of product recalls due to concerns over potential contamination with Listeria monocytogenes. This marks the third set of recalls involving popular salad items available in Irish supermarkets, which is crazy because I've been to Ireland, love Ireland, and I was amazed of all of their local fresh produce. But you guys know that a lot of these countries are under the thumb of change and commercializing. Right here's a list of these things right here that you need to be watching out for. But since it's Ireland, we'll keep moving along to the fires. And the fires are going to be something crazy to deal with. Now this one is Grand Canyon Fire, which is getting a lot of attention in media. It's all over breaking news. Grand Canyon Fire grows into a mega fire and creates its own weather. It's not done yet. Folks, this is not good for people that are in the area of that. When these things get big enough to start creating their own weather, not only is it bad for that certain area, but surrounding states by a long shot. And I'm talking about, you think about Canada burning up, and then we have to deal with all the smoke all summer. Yeah, air quality. I've went into the smoke in the air and inhalation and what's in it in other videos, and this is not good, not good. I'll play this image right here again. This is a time lapse that captures the precumulus clouds building over the Dragon Bravo fire on Tuesday, July 29th at the Grand Canyon in Arizona. They're saying that the wildfire is raging along the Grand Canyon's north rim because the mega fire this week is doubling in size in just a few days and intensifying enough to create its own weather. Hostile weather conditions include intense dry heat and gusty winds drove over the Dragon Bravo fire's explosive growth and erased much of the containment progress made by fire crews. They're saying the northern Arizona fire has burned roughly nearly 112,000 acres since igniting on the July 4th and was 8% contained on Friday morning, according to the NIFC. It is the largest fire currently burning in the lower 48 states, and its footprint is about 3 times the size of Washington, D.C. And having that sucker contained 8% the other day and then losing a foothold on that means this thing is going to go crazy. Here's another crazy fact. They're saying only about 3% of these wildfires reach this scale, this magnitude, this large. Now they're saying a lightning strike ignited the fire, ironically, on the 4th, right? Now, as some of you know, the blaze tore through the North Rim's historical Grand Canyon Lodge mid-July and destroyed at least 70 other structures, including cabins and visitor centers. It's went through low 20% contained, which doesn't really mean much when it comes to this scale of a fire. Now they're saying this pyrocumulus cloud form over intense heat sources like raging wildfires or volcano eruptions. They're saying that they develop because the air above such intense heat is quickly and chaotically forced to rise, which cools and condenses the air moisture forming clouds. The crazy thing about those things is they actually fuel other fires. A fire thunderstorm cloud that generates lightning and gusts and sometimes produces tornadoes. Additional lightning strikes from these types of clouds could set off new blazes or reignite area crews have already smothered. Anyway, we're going to want to be keeping an eye on that because this thing could turn into a monster. Right here, you guys can see Bear Valley, Utah. They're saying all over headline news, breaking news, this fire, Utah governor declares month-long state of emergency due to intensifying wildfires. During a press briefing regarding updates on the fire on Friday, Governor Cox gave the urgent message to Utahns to be careful. He said, "I haven't begged you in a long time. I'm begging people right now to please exercise extreme caution." They're saying the Monroe Canyon fire, which began July 13th near Monroe, Utah, has so far burned more than 57,000 acres, and it's only 4% contained according to the INCI web. Check this out. It is hot. You can almost see it almost starting to create its own weather too. Firefighters out there just doing what they can, leaving the place just looking like a barren land of just ashes. Right here's another couple really good images. This post right here, the Bear Gulch fire raging near Lake Cushman. The fire is nearly 2,000 acres and is only 3% contained. Is like, you're just gonna say that so that you feel like you're doing something, because 3% ain't much at all. People are being evacuated. 8 major wildfires are raging in Oregon and Washington, covering about 50,000 acres. And if this keeps up, guys, I'm gonna have to do a video on air quality and what's in this smoke in the air that we breathe in. It is extremely toxic. And then here's a quick news clip from King 5, which is like Seattle, Washington area on this Bear Gulch. Fire spreads to 4,500 acres. One of several active wildfires in Washington.
With a burning forest as a backdrop, choppers come and go. A critical aerial attack on the Bear Gulch fire in Mason County.
We can only put people on the ground when it's safe, and people can only fly when it's safe.
The scenes are eerie, unintentionally beautiful, and ominous. And it's not the only wildfire burning. The so-called stud horse fire in the Okanagan National Forest near Winthrop was discovered on Thursday. Lightning to blame. Firefighters from Snohomish County have been called in to help. More than 500 acres have been scorched so far. That pales in comparison to the weeks-long Bear Gulch fire in the heart of Olympic National Park.
Yes, it is very challenging terrain. The fire is moving upslope, and with that steep angle, it's catching more, and then you have rolling debris coming down that's on fire, and it can reignite.
So far, no structures have been damaged, and that remains a priority. There is a level 3 go now evacuation in place on the northwest side of the lake. Others have been told to be ready, but the flames have not spread into tourist hotspots like Hoodsport.
We're constantly monitoring that, but I think there's a fear with all the signage, all the news, that people are not coming to the area because of their concerns of what it could be.
Fire officials say it's still safe to visit those communities.
The businesses remain open. We encourage people to still come and find those opportunities and make a great trip in this beautiful area.
And as is often the case, the fate of these fires can be in the hands of Mother Nature.
We are anticipating, with the lower temperatures in the next 5 days and increasing humidity levels, that will help the fire situation and have less spread each day.
So I'll tell you this because this is my almost lifelong backyard. This is dense timber, steep hillsides, steep terrain. All reality, these type of fires don't go anywhere until snowfall. So the big question is how big they're gonna get and how much damage they're gonna do. A lot of that's gonna have to do with the wind, the weather. I honestly don't think that firefighters can do much when it comes to this size and this type of structure and this type of fire, because them hills are steep and the timber is thick. A lot of this stuff isn't even accessible. Plane drops, helicopter drops, but it doesn't do hardly anything to this magnitude of a fire in the high heat along with winds. Anyway, I'll keep you guys posted as this stuff all progresses. Be sure that notification bell is still clicked on, and I will continue to bring you guys new awareness that affects you. Share this if you found it informative. Keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing. We'll see you guys on the next one.